Yo, this your boy Jaystar back again with another video for y'all, man. So we just got done with the week 2, man. I hope y'all, won some money, man. It was a hard week for me, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Wow. Like, I didn't play that much of the millionaire, maker or anything like that because I'm still trying to get a feel for, how people are winning this year and, how to attack the defense the right way and things like that. So I'm playing here and there, on things, but I'm getting a feel for it because I know by like week 3, usually things start to come together and you start to figure out everything. So, but we gonna get right into how I do these first looks of the week 3 slate now. I'm gonna go over all the, like I tell you, just the main easy simple best picks basically for each game, as I always do, hitting you with the quarterback and whatever receiver, running back, tight end option is best to pick with them for that week. Of course, later in the week, come like Friday, once all the injury reports happen, I'll give you the strategy with the stacks and things like that, and the best picks from each game, full detailed of how to attack the defense, who should have the best matchups, stuff like that. So you can, pick the best stacks for every game, no matter if you have a hunch for, a certain quarterback and everything. I just want to make sure y'all picking the right weapons to, to go with them, to stack with them and things like that really have the best matchup in that game. But before we get on to the first look and things like that, we're going to first go, like I said, I'm going to start trying to review, the weeks, the last week's number one lineup, winning lineup. That way we can all see like what they did and learn from that, because like I tell you, these things are like, man, to win on Draftkings, especially like for football, stuff is like very trendy, man. Like I'm trying to tell y'all, like, you gotta find out like what's the trend of every year, man. I'm so serious. Like everybody gets hip to it real quick. I remember that one year, I would say like 2 years ago, it was like the running back, no quarterback, running back with the wide receiver number 1 basically was the stack that everybody was doing, and running backs with like tight ends. That stuff started to become like a trend, man, and it was winning millions of dollars weekly. So like I say, I try to figure out those things, and that's why I'm not playing as much yet, as what I would be playing, once like I kind of get, hang of this type of things, like I say, like I really like to figure out what's the new trend of every year. Cause like, man, offensive schemes and defensive schemes and stuff like that change so much. And I'm already seeing, I learned so much just in these 2 weeks, man. Like, man, last year, I don't know if y'all noticed, but last year, freaking people was not scoring. Like the 3-4 defense was like so new to everybody. I think it's Brandon Staley for the Chargers head coach. He brought that to the Rams, and it worked for the Rams. You seen they won the Super Bowl last year with it. And it was hard for people to attack it, but people are found out ways now, and it's crazy. Like, I feel like it's a little bit it's easier, simpler to see how to attack the 4-3 defense, but you have to have the right pieces, and certain teams don't. And so it's hard for them to attack that. The 3-4 defense, sometimes it works very freaking well, still to this day. But it's just that if you have the right weapons, then you can attack it the right way. And that's what's winning on fantasy, man. So we're gonna get into this though right here. This is the millionaire maker winning lineup right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all what happened here. Tua, man. Man. He wasn't the highest scoring quarterback of the week. It was the opposing quarterback of this game, in Lamar Jackson. But it didn't matter, man. It didn't matter. The savings here at 5,600 to get you 43 freaking fantasy points was crazy. Plus, he did outplay him when it comes to the fact that he threw more touchdowns and won the game. So almost threw 500 yards, man. This lineup was a double stack here with the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, other receiver to go along with him. I mean, when a quarterback throws 6 touchdowns, I mean, golly, you better have both of his receivers that he's going to target the most, right? Like, what is his 11 receptions? That's crazy. I didn't even know he could spread the ball like this. Like, real. I didn't know Tua was going to be able to spread the ball this well. It really goes to show to me that the 49ers offense, that they run, like, if they actually had a quarterback that could throw and had the 2 weapons instead of just one, it really goes to show what that offense can do. That's how I see it, because knowing that Waddle basically plays like the Debo role for the 49ers. So, and you see Debo gets most of the targets over there. They don't really have a Tyreek Hill. They have a Ayuk, so it's hard to, really get the ball to somebody like, Ayuk and expect him to do 190 yards reception. Plus, he doesn't have the elite speed, the elite route running ability that Tyreek Hill has. all that stuff comes into play. So you see how explosive this offense can be, and they didn't really have to use their run game really for this game. It's so crazy. Like, they didn't even have to use Edmonds, and also they don't have to use Gesicki. That's what I'm saying. Like, the 49ers is like a couple of pieces away, and it sucks for them now that they have to go back to Garoppolo over Trey Lance because he can't really throw the ball deep down the field. So that's another reason why somebody like a Yuke's position, like where Hill is at, doesn't get involved a lot of the games, and it's mostly it goes to like the Debo position, the slot and stuff like that, and the short routes and things like that, and the run is all they do over there because their quarterback, they don't have the right quarterback yet. So, but as you see how this offense can work, so well, man. Like when you can just get the ball to your short route receivers and even a deep route receiver like Tyreek Hill, and let them just run and make plays, yards after catch type plays and stuff like that after it. But this game right here was nice, man. The best stack of the day. I mean, the best stack of the whole day, man. Like probably the best stack period of the whole week, really. Like, goodness gracious. Like, I mean, you almost got, what is that, 120 points right there, fantasy, off of just 3 people. That's crazy. And you put Mark Andrews on the run back here to attack it the way back. It was a double stack with the run back, which I go over my stacks and stuff like this in my stacks video. So if y'all want to go back and watch that, I go over different stacks. I talked about the double stack too as well, and how to put them in your lineups and run it the right way and stuff like that. But that's why also the strategy video and stuff like that I do on Fridays helps you even learn who to run back when you do a double stack like that and you go to the other side, because these two defenses were 3-4 defenses both sides. But there was a key thing that happened in this game. What I want to say, Baltimore's lead cornerback was out, and Kyle Fuller, I believe it is. So he's out placed on IR. So that really, I think, helped a lot with Tyreek Hill's game, because I wasn't really expecting Tyreek Hill to do so well in this game. And it kind of messed me up because I thought that what was it? I didn't even notice that Kyle Fuller was on the team at first. So I was looking at the the depth chart, and I'm looking like, what do they mean that their cornerback is out? And I'm looking at, I see Humphreys and Marcus Peters still there, so they're starting. So I'm like, and then I saw that they was questionable, but they ended up playing. So I was just like, why are they saying that their number one cornerback is out and they're going to their backup? But if I would have known that he was the first person, I would have known Tyreek Hill was about to go off. I had Tyreek Hill like a couple of times, but not enough. And then I had Waddle though, because I knew that the 3-4 defense, you need to attack the slot. And when you have a slot receiver like Waddle, then he could go off. So I knew he was definitely, able to do what he did. 43 fantasy, I mean, it's crazy, but man, and what's really crazy about this game was supposed to be a slow paced game, but the amount of scoring that happened in this game, yeah, it was like F all that, you know what I mean? It went to the most fastest pace of the, I'm sure the pace of this game is going to be updated now. We can check the speeds now, come tomorrow or so like that, and be able to come back to y'all with the strategy video, see how fast, everything, how fast these teams playing now, because this was a crazy pace game to put up this many points. You're talking about over, what is that, 80 points or 80 points on the dot? It's crazy. But yeah, so that was how they ran that. They did a whole double stack with the run back here. Then they went into just every other game, man, and just one-off, man. Like, this lineup was so perfect, like perfectly made, man. It was just a whole bunch of one-offs. You got a one-off value right here in Wilson. So it was like the mid to late game right here, grabbing at least one person from the mid to late game. And then I like how they grabbed a late, person in the 130 game, and another value play too, again, here with Dortch, which also what I liked about this is like you kind of, when you make these tournament lineups, just so y'all know, like you want to have stacks, of course, that's kind of contrarian, but as you see, Tua was low on. It's crazy though to think like nobody wanted to pick Tua. I felt the same way though too. Like I didn't know if he can throw 6 touchdowns, definitely. Like I didn't know he can even throw past 3 really. So it was kind of hard for me to see him doing a 6 touchdown game and getting 2 receivers going, but now he's proved it to everybody. So I'm sure everybody will be on him now when he gets a matchup like that, because I knew the whole time though, it wasn't really, I knew it was him that I was more worried about. I never was worried about his receivers being able to do 100 something yards each. So it was just him. So that was my bad on that, but learning, like I said, every week. So then I already knew Washington, man, they've been bad back-to-back weeks now against the slot. Like, They play a 4-3 defense, and I mean, like I tell you, with the 4-3 defense, you need time in the pocket to, get a receiver deep down the field and hit big targets and stuff like that, big plays and things like that, and attack it. But their slot cornerback isn't really good, so it just shows, because back-to-back week we had Christian Kirk first week, and he only had 20 something fantasy, but then we got another week here, and we get, well, how many targets he catch? Like 9 receptions, 100 yards, 2 reception touchdowns. Like, it's crazy, man. 42 fantasy there. So definitely now they're on my radar for sure. Like I said, that's what I'm trying to learn, man. Like, cause I'm seeing already Washington is not good in the slot, and I believe forgot who they play this week, but we'll get into that on the slate. You know, in the first look of the second third week, man, slate after this. But yeah, so he attacked that one off right there, which was an easy one off there. Chubb versus the Jets, that felt so easy to me. Like I knew it wasn't gonna be Hunt. I just knew it was gonna be Chubb. I had Chubb. A lot of my lineups, so definitely he hit for me. 8% on, man. I heard he was low on too. I just knew everybody was kind of scared because of the fact that Hunt got the 2 touchdowns last week, and Chubb went like over 100 yards but didn't get the touchdowns or something like that. So I was just like, man, the game can always go opposite. I kept saying that, like, the game can always go opposite, man, than what it did the week before. And Chubb is getting all the goal line rushes, and I felt like he would get 2, and he surpassed that and got a third one. So crazy, but. Got the Chubb one off, you know, the high fantasy one off here, the high fantasy one off with St. Brown, and then the nice value, very nice values for late, man, just to keep it ticking away, man, just to keep ticking up, you know, at the end of the game. Came up big though right here with the Jaguars defense. I don't know why I was not thinking about the Jaguars defense. Like, I know most people think of them as they sorry and stuff like that, but they did get a nice first round edge rusher in Walker, and he's been doing very well. Look at the 5 sacks here. Also 3 interceptions. That was kind of wild, but it's not wild when this is how I like try to pay attention to stuff like that. Like I said, just so y'all can learn too. I like to pay attention to defenses that are going against quarterbacks that are losing targets, you know, losing big weapons. So Matt Ryan not having Michael Pittman, like that right there should have brought this to my radar. But it, you know, that kind of news came out. I know it came out, I think, like Saturday or something like that, you know, late Saturday. But I didn't really pay attention super hard to, like, man, what kind of weapons does he have now that he's out? But it's really none, you know, like, so when quarterbacks don't have weapons, they're throwing to people that they're not used to throwing to, don't really have connections with, which causes a lot of pop-ups or just bad route run and stuff like that. You know, they're not running the right routes out there, and you're throwing behind them or you're throwing over them, and then there's another pick, and it causes picks like this, or it causes more sacks because the time in the pocket, you know, is worthless when, you know, nobody's getting open for you. You know what I'm saying? So you getting sacked. All that type of stuff happens. So that's what I like to pay attention to. I instead went with the wrong defense on that because I took the Saints defense at cheap price too. What $100 more than this defense too. So I went with their defense just because of that reason, that I thought, oh, Brady don't got all his weapons. You know, I knew Godwin was out. I knew he still had Russell Gage and Mike Evans, but it was looking good at the beginning, you know, until Jamie just started throwing all them picks, man. It was looking like the Saints defense was going to hold up and give Brady a hard time, but then Jamie just gave the ball back too many times. So that's how I felt there. But this is the, you know, $1 million lineup here. I want to go through the one more $1 million lineup real quick. And we got the Monday, which I did not know they was going to do the $1 million for this. Otherwise, I would have made a video for y'all to basically help y'all out with this 2-gamer that we had today. So, but here, man, this was crazy. Another quarterback going against a 3-4 defense, y'all. 3-4 defense, and lit them up, man, just because he has the weapons to do it. Like, I already knew Minnesota, man. I knew it. I was so mad at my Packers last week because I was like, Minnesota got away with one, man. Like, they got away with one. Like, I just knew their defense was not that strong. And it showed tonight. Like, it showed big time today. So, watching that game, man, I knew it. I was like, they're going to get lit up. I thought it was only going to be A.J. Brown, but it wasn't even A.J. Brown. Like, they instead, I mean, they got 2 good receivers. Like, A.J. Brown came from running a slot, you know, all the time in the Titans offense. But now, you know, they was able to, you know, they put him out wide, but they move him in too as well. But the coach decided today, let's move in Devontae Smith. Man, he moved in Devontae Smith, and Devontae Smith was lighting him up. Caught 7 targets, you know, for 80 yards, almost 100 yards there. Quez Watkins hit on one big catch for what, like 50-something yards, something like that, for a touchdown in the slot, y'all. You move A.J. Brown to the slot, he still catches 5 catches for 70 yards. Like, they was lighting them up, catching these slot. Just, oh, man, I don't know, man. They was just attacking the slot with everybody. It's the exact same thing that the Vikings did last week to my Packers, though. So funny. They just moved, you know, Jefferson to the slot all day, and then he never got lined up with Jair Anderson. The time he got lined up with Jair Anderson, he PI'd on him. You know, he pushed him off him just to try to catch the ball, and they got flagged for it. So, and it goes to show, like, he got shut down today by Slay, man, and that wasn't even. They didn't play against a 3-4 defense. They played against a 4-3 defense, which were needed. They needed to have time in the pocket, but they also needed to establish the run. And they never was able to establish the run, as you see right here with these 19 yards, caught by Cook or something like that. I mean, four receptions, 19 yards. It's a horrible game for him, though. Really, 17 rushing yards. I mean, he ran the ball a few times and just wasn't getting nothing out of it. So they never was able to establish the run, which means that you can't establish a run and you're not going to get big plays, And it was why they was able to, man, they was never worried about the run. So since they're never worried about the run, the play action doesn't work. It doesn't set up big plays against the 4-3 defense, which is why you saw Jefferson not do anything. Thielen, they finally tried to get to Thielen late, but it was just the fact that all the corners and the linebackers was able to play off and, be just ready for the pass at all times because they knew the run wasn't going to work. So it just benefited the whole Eagles defense after that. And on the other side, it's just like Jalen Hurts, when you can't stop him from running the ball, you can't stop him for his running back to run the ball with 80 yards right here, which the pass catching should have been even better, but I thought they was going to play Gainwell a little more than Sanders. But Sanders was able to get 80 yards in the rush there, but it wasn't in the fact that, they was scared of Sanders. They was more scared of Hurts running, which ended up, I guess, making a linebacker, sink in a little bit or spying on Hurts, which gave, 3 receptions to Sanders and a couple of receptions to Gainwell, but more the middle of the field with the slot, man. They were not able to double the slot receivers at all, as you see. Like, they all moved in. All these receivers moved into the slot, y'all. Just so you know, like, they all moved into the slot, and they had success, every one of them. So, and then I went over here to this. I actually played. I messed up because I thought about Hurts, but I didn't know if Hurts was another type of quarterback that I didn't know for sure could spread the ball so well. The first game we saw, it was all A.J. Brown. So he spread like 4 targets here. I don't think Quez Watkins even got a target the last game. So it was good to see that he can spread the ball this well and play this good because he definitely has the weapons. And their coaching, the offensive scheme the coaches came up with today was amazing. So it's good to see that all that can work because now I know Jalen Hurts is on my radar for any time that I see he has a match of a lifetime like this. But in this game here, for the Buffalo game, I knew Diggs was a one-off. I knew Diggs was a nice one-off. Like, I did skinny stack him, though, with Josh Allen because I knew Josh Allen was going to be able to attack them very well. But this is why, because Diggs was playing a 3-4 defense against Tennessee, and I already saw the way he lit up the Rams, and they have a 3-4 defense, which he was able to do good even on Jalen Ramsey. But today, man, I saw the inactive list right before the game. I want to say it was about to start, like an hour and 30 minutes. They usually let that be known. And their lead corner on the Tennessee Titans was out the game. He was inactive. So once I saw that he was inactive, I already knew they was going to be able to attack the slot, which I knew Diggs was going to move into the slot to get some production there. But also, man, when I saw the lead cornerback was out, and then I didn't even know that the backup was going to be a rookie that they was going to put in, but I just knew whoever it was, I didn't really care because Diggs is going to kill them. We already saw what Tyreek Hill did to a backup, number 1 in a 3-4 defense. So I already knew. That's what I'm saying, trying to learn from, week by week here. So I knew to put Diggs in there for sure. Like I said, I just didn't know for sure that Hurts was going to be able to throw to 3 different receivers and they all was going to attack the slot. We didn't see Devontae Smith move into the slot the first game, but they didn't even play a 3-4 defense either, though. And then we didn't see no targets thrown to Quez Watkins, so that was kind of missed there. Irv Smith, I actually went with the other tight end here in Munt because they were saying Irv Smith, since he was out with his, I think, thumb or something injury like that, he hadn't picked up all the plays yet, but seems like he picked up enough now, and that's why he was more involved today. So definitely I'm going to be looking at Irv Smith now because it looks like he was more involved. But also this also worked just because of the fact that Kirk Cousins barely had time in the pocket. He had to, and all his receivers were just covered. Only thing he could do is really just dump it off to his tight end, since even his backup running backs that was trying to pass was dropping the ball, stuff like that. So his best option was Irv Smith the whole game. So that's what happened there. I knew Bill's defense was going to dominate Tennessee. I just knew that their defense is just too strong. They don't really let you run. You need a pass catch. You need a pass catching back. You need to attack. I want to say like the slot area receiver or tight end, something like that. And Tennessee just don't really have that. They have a rookie in Treylon Burks or whatever like that, but he's still, developing and everything. He had a decent game. I think they probably should have went to him more, and they should have got the ball out real quick. They should have already replaced Henry once they saw the run wasn't really working, man, and went to their pass catching back. Would have helped them a lot in this game, but that's why instead, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 defensive fumble recoveries, and a touchdown too as well, man. I knew this defense was going to be too strong for them, though. So that's how they won that lineup there. They ran I want to say a 5-man stack here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, wow. Yeah, and then just ran it back with Dalvin Cook, who was supposed to do good, but I mean, Man, he had a horrible game. But then Irv Smith, you could definitely go there if you really thinking that Kirk Cousins wasn't gonna have no time in the pocket and things like that. That was an easy play too there. And then the defense for sure, that was definitely the defense of the day. So let's get into the first look of the whole slate though here. And like I say, when I go over these, I try to give you like just the easiest, simple, people that's supposed to do good depending on the actual scheme of the defense and things like that for every game here. So we're gonna get right into this now. And we got the Cincinnati and the Jets here. So we got the two quarterbacks here, and Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco. Let me see. Both defenses here. Oh, my bad. Let me go back. I'm on the wrong game. That's not the first game of the slate here. My bad. They start that right. So we got Baltimore and New England. My bad. So we got Lamar Jackson and Mac Jones. So we already saw what Lamar Jackson is doing, man. He's killing it. He's killing it. He really wants a big contract after this year. So I expect him to keep balling out no matter really who he plays. Like, I'm so serious. I just feel like if he got to run to have a great game, then he's going to run to have a great game. If he can throw, he's going to throw. But more than likely, I feel like he is so pressured to really show that he can throw. Because I feel like he's in that same situation where Debo was in with his contract, where Debo didn't want to get paid like a running back. And so he wanted to produce more in the pass and stuff like that, so they'll pay him as a receiver. So I feel like Lamar is trying to show them that, hey, I can throw touchdowns. I can throw 300 plus yards a game and 3 touchdowns, every game. I'm not just a running back, quarterback. So he really wants to show that. So definitely every week I feel like you got to watch out for him. But since he's playing New England and they play a 3-4 defense, definitely got to link up Mark Andrews for this game. Like, it's Mark Andrews for sure, in this defense. That's his best weapon, I would say, when it comes to the two areas that he's supposed to attack in this defense. And his best pass catcher weapon is Mark Andrews. On the other side, Mac Jones playing against another 3-4 defense here. His best weapon will be Jacoby Myers. It's already one of his favorite weapons anyways. So I feel like definitely Jacoby Myers could get hit. Let me see. What did he do last week? 13 targets. Yeah, see, his targets is going up. He played a 3-4 defense both of these times. Definitely was always involved in the offense at both times. So close to getting over 100 yards there. Maybe he gets it this game. But we're going to move on to the next game here. We got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Colts. And I want to see something. Is Pittman anything? Has made some good progress in this. Okay. Could be available. Yeah, great. So, I don't know. Let me know. Okay, so now let's get into this. So we got Pat Mahomes, Matt Ryan, and we got 2-4-3 defenses here. So I would say for both of these teams, the best weapons, Michael Pittman definitely gonna be the best weapon here for Ryan. I mean, after we saw what Mike Williams did to him, come on now, definitely it's the same type of receiver. I feel like he can get you 30 points fantasy easily if he gets 12 to 15 targets, something like that in this game. On the other side though, man, it's so hard to say who is the established deep threat receiver here. If McCole Hardman is out, I wonder if that means Sky Moore gets more time, or they just go with the cheap option. Where'd he go? Wait, he's hurt too now? Oh man, what happened to him? The Justin Watson boy. Let's see. Caught. I don't even say nothing yet. Shoulder injury. Okay, my bad. Okay, so yeah, if he's out, I wonder if we're gonna get to see Sky Moore out there out wide, because 3,400, that's gonna be nice, man. He's gonna be a great value. But anyways, let me see. Man, I want to say they're playing who? Okay, the Colts. I'm gonna have to go with Kelsey, man. I'm gonna have to go with Kelsey because Colts is not that good against the tight end. So I feel like their deep play receiver is freaking Kelsey, really. So it's gonna be Pat Mahomes and Kelsey there, and we're gonna switch over to the next game here. And we got New Orleans Saints versus the Panthers. It's a rivalry, divisional game here. Man, both of these quarterbacks haven't been playing too well to me. I expected more out of Jamie last game, and he did not come through. But we got Jamie and Baker. For Baker's side, I feel like it's going to have to be McCaffrey. I mean, he has to get really going. I don't know. What's his 19 points? Baker is, I don't know. I think, we used to McCaffrey getting really 10 targets, and that's when we was picking McCaffrey. But this is still his game, man. I mean, he's rushing with 15 attempts. He would need more rushing attempts to me to actually be, but it's supposed to be him. If not, I would say then it should be Robbie Anderson. It really should be Robbie Anderson if he can get back to these 8 targets what he had week 1 in this game, which he probably will be. So then on the other side we got Jamie. Jamie is playing again with another 4-3 defense. So it's Michael Thomas. I know we saw a lot of shots, deep shots he took to Jarvis. I mean, not Jarvis, but Chris Olave in the last game. Threw picks doing it. Maybe this week he doesn't. But if not, Michael Thomas definitely. I expect some more targets from him. I don't think he had that many. Oh, he had 9. Okay. So, yeah, if he can get another 9 or 10 targets, man, like definitely Michael Thomas over even a Chris Olave. So, then the next game we have here, Houston and Chicago. Probably be probably one of the slower paced games. But after seeing Justice Field look pretty decent against the Packers. I mean, it's a hard defense to play against. Now he gets an easier matchup, I would say, with playing Houston Texans and things like that. But both of these teams, let me see, they both run a 4-3 defense. So the best weapon, I think Mooney is going to be in play this week. Like, definitely going to be in play this week. Let me see. I know his targets, I think, have been real low. Yeah, very, very low. But the reason why it's so hard for them because they need time in the pocket. They have one of the worst lines, like something like what the Bengals have over there in Chicago, and you need time to hit a receiver like Mooney because all he kind of does is like one trick pony stuff. Like he goes deep every time, and that's really it. Like it's not too many times he kind of comes back or slant routes, anything like that. But he can definitely probably hit on a deep route in this game. So I have to say it's Mooney. And then on the other side with Mills, let me see what I say. Let me see, is Cook still getting good targets? Oh yeah, he's getting great targets. So yeah, I think it's definitely Cooks in this game. He can come through big for you in this game. It's definitely set up for him. But because I don't really think there's really any other receivers on that team. Like I could say that, yeah, that's like go and get the targets. Is going to be going deep down the field and Collins stuff like this. I know he has a target 9, but I would rather have Cooks just because he's a better receiver. And then let's get on to this Buffalo Miami game. This is a really crazy game right here, man. I bet everybody's gonna be stacking this one now that what Tua just did. But it's going to be a way different type of matchup because the defenses are different here. For basically, Josh Allen is going against another 3-4 defense, which, man, he has not failed to light up every 3-4 defense that he has went against. And definitely, I'm stacking Josh Allen with Stephon Diggs, man. Like they have connected crazy. I mean, 47 fantasy points, I believe, today and stuff like that. And so. This is gonna be crazy, like what he can do. I mean, man, back-to-back games, like what has he done? Like 29 fantasy and 47.8 fantasy, and they're just moving him around like crazy. I mean, until they kind of get, I guess, a 4-3 defense, I am probably gonna be picking Stephon Diggs. Period. That's just how I'm rolling with this. So they gonna be moving him around like that. I believe Gabe Davis will be back, this week. I think it was great for them to be able to just sit him out this game, on Monday night and blowout and he didn't even have to play and they didn't even need him, so kept him rested. He'll be back for this next game, but definitely, like I said, Stephon Diggs will be my receiver. I'll be putting this on that side, but Tua on this side. I'm trying to see how they running game been going. Like I haven't really paid attention. Only 5 attempts there. Did Mostert outrun him in this last game? 11 attempts, yeah, outran him for sure. And it's definitely set up to be Tyreek Hill. Buffalo's cornerbacks out wide can be tested. I don't think they have been though yet, and they have a rookie cornerback out there on one of the sides. So because Tre'Davious White shouldn't be back until like week 5 or something like that, coming on the IR and things like that. So yeah, like I think he can be tested, and Tyreek Hill definitely should be able to get after him. So definitely the Tua Tyreek Hill stack could roll. I know it's a tough defense, but I don't think it's going to matter. It's a rivalry. The Miami has the home game too, so I don't expect them to back down at all against them. And they just have enough weapons that this is going to be Buffalo's biggest test, because I want to say they actually had 2 easy games to me. Like I know the Rams, people would say they're tough. They're really not this year. Like I feel like they really need like a receiver like a Odell Beckham and things like that, because it makes it hard, because Robinson kind of is not the type of receiver that really can put a lot of pressure on the defense. It's only Cup out there that's really putting pressure and kind of taking two man, and really since it's in a slot, he doesn't really take 2 man too often. So it's not somebody really taking pressure off a Cup really is what they need, and they need like Odell Beckham. But so Buffalo had an easy matchup when I think about that. And then it's like then they go into Tennessee and they have no weapons to throw the ball to. Really have no it's Henry, but it's just like Henry's not a pass catching back. They needed him to be able to pass catch in a game against them. In this game, though, it's like this is going to be Buffalo's real first test. And I just suspect that they're going to get scored on. I really do think they're going to get scored on in this game, because Miami has too many weapons to put the pressure on them. And like I say, so like a Tua with Tyreek Hill, I feel like that's just gonna be. It's still just gonna work. I feel like, and then they still got to worry about Waddle and Gesicki coming out the backfield. They had a hard time against Irv Smith, at least coming out the backfield. The run game, I feel like, is a better duel of running backs in this game too for Buffalo to worry about. So I really feel like just Miami will be able to have a better chance of scoring against Buffalo because they've been holding everybody to like one touchdown so far. But let's keep it moving here. So Detroit and Minnesota. So this game should be exciting. I hope it is. Like, I really do. It seems like it will be a pretty high scoring game. But I know Detroit, being that they have a defensive coach, and I know they was watching that game for what the Eagles was able to do against them. So and they kind of run the same type of style of defense. So we got Cousins though and Jared Goff here, and the best weapons on both sides. It's gonna be definitely St. Brown for Detroit, and then on the other side, still got to go back with Jefferson. I know a lot of people probably ain't going to pay up for him for 9,300, but definitely, I mean, I can still see him having a big game here. To get 30 plus fantasy maybe. I definitely think he's going to demand a lot of targets again, like he did tonight. If he gets another 12 targets, who knows what he can do against Detroit. So definitely it's the two that I would roll back with, Cousins and Jefferson here, and then we're going to move on to the next game here. We got Cincinnati and the Jets, and we got Joe Burrow versus Flacco still. Looks like Wilson's probably still going to be out. And if he is out, then yeah, we still going to have Flacco, which now Flacco coming off a big, huge win. This game is kind of crazy to me because, I mean, we seen Cincinnati is down 2-0. The Jets is a 1-1 team, at 500. And the way you got to attack these defenses, they both run, what do they do? They both run the same type of defense, or... Yeah, they do. So both run a 4-3 defense here. So both going to need to establish the run. I feel like Joe Mixon is the better play right here for this game. But I will have to say, I am going to keep my eye out for if Sauce Gardner on the other side for the Jets, if he's able to go. Because I did see him come out that game, and it was like as soon as he came out that game, Amari Cooper just went off. So I am going to pay attention to that because then it would be Chase, would be definitely in play. I think, did Higgins get more targets last game than him? 10 targets. Let's see. Just want to make sure. Yeah, he did outplay him with the targets at least. That's crazy. But still, Chase is just that big play receiver, so I definitely got to go with Chase. On the other side, though, with Flacco, I had Garrett Wilson, like I told y'all, for the rookies to pick, man, to win you a slate, man. He could have won a big win this past weekend, man. He went off. And I don't think nobody expected him to have 14 targets and, 102 yards against Cleveland, man. That was crazy. I was not expecting that myself, but with 2 touchdowns, wow, he really killed it. 33 fantasy, and nobody really had him at all. But I'm really thinking that this week he could be in play, big time. Coming out the slot, I know they played a 4-3 defense, but to me, he's the best receiver out there for real. To get deep down the field, I know people like Elijah Moore, but this dude has the route running ability and can actually get free. If they even move him out wide, he can take a cornerback out wide deep and stuff like Eli Apple or something like that. So I really like him to stack with Flacco this week. And then we're gonna move on to this Raider-Tennessee game. After what we saw, Tennessee just got lit up, man. I would expect Carr to find a way to light them up, man. The only thing with Carr's problem, man, what I'm still noticing is bothering me a lot, and I'm not a Raider fan or anything, but what bothers me is this 2 touchdowns, man. I wish the game log of last season was still here, just so y'all can see, he has so many 2 touchdown games. I don't know what it is. I just knew if Carr didn't throw interceptions, because I'm looking at this game, man, he threw 3 interceptions. If he didn't throw them 3 interceptions, he throws 2 extra touchdowns, for 400 yards. That's what I was thinking. This dude goes into this game and throws 0 interceptions and still throws 2 touchdowns. Oh my God, dude. He has a 2 touchdown curse to me. Because it just doesn't matter. Last year, I tried to give him a benefit of the doubt that, wow, he didn't have one of his best, red zone targets in Waller. And all he had was Renfro. And he had to turn him into his, number 1 red zone target and receiver. And he was able to do that. But it was still, he was getting 2 touchdowns a game and stuff like that. And it made sense. But now that you have Devontae Adams, who usually, just a year before led the league in receiving touchdowns and stuff like that, and one of the best red zone threats, and you got Waller back, and you still have Renfro out there, and you still throwing 2 touchdowns, something's wrong, man. So, but in this game here, y'all, we gonna get into it. We got, Vegas. We got Carr versus with Tannehill here, and I think it's both 3-4 defenses here. So, I would say you got to go with Devontae Adams because they already been saying that he's actually taking up Renfro's spot like in the slot a lot. They said like they're actually benching Renfro on certain plays just to put Devontae in the slot instead. So definitely as Devontae's gonna be taking up half of the time in the slot as well as taking up the out wide. He's definitely going to be the receiver. We already saw what Diggs was able to do by moving in and out. So Devontae is definitely in play for a huge game. On the other side here with Tannehill, I know people want to say Henry for sure or something like that, but as a receiver threat though over here, it would have to be Burks. Being in the slot over there, he's basically on the slot, basically been in the slot most of the time and stuff like that, and it's looking like his targets are going up, each game right here. So if we can out of nowhere get a 10 target, game for him, man, you could see 100 yards for him. We already saw what Dortch did to them in the slot. He came through big as a value play. For 4,900, I could see Treylon Burks hitting for that. And then I'm gonna move on to the Philly versus Washington game. This should be another pretty big, exciting game, man. Washington's at home in this game. Divisional big game, man. Very big game for both of these teams. We got Jalen Hurts versus Wentz, and we have I want to say what is it? Both 4-3 defenses here. Am I right? Let me make sure. Yep, both 4-3 defenses here. So basically both big receivers is in play, both sides here. AJ Brown and McLaurin. Both are in play for, this is who you want to attack this game with. AJ Brown, McLaurin. McLaurin needs to have a big game like soon, man. I know it's gonna be hard because he's gonna go against Slay, and on the other end he's gonna have Bradbury. But it's about time like he find his way to get involved more or something like that. And if he gets one-on-one cover, maybe he can hit on a big one. AJ Brown definitely on the other side because of the fact I know I said Washington, I'm gonna be looking for the slot receiver here, but I've been noticing AJ is moving all around. We did see on Monday night, we saw Devontae move into the slot too, so they're both kind of in play. But I just would rather just go with AJ Brown just because I feel like he's going to get more targets. I think in the last game, Devontae Smith might have had more, or maybe not, 7. And let's see, 8. So yeah, edge them only out by 1 for AJ Brown, but they both are moving in and out. So both got the opportunity, but definitely I would go with the main best receiver here. So I'm gonna go with AJ Brown in that game, and then we're gonna move it on to the next game here, in the Jaguars here versus the Chargers. And both of these teams play a 3-4 defense, I believe. Yep. So we got Herbert and Lawrence here. If Herbert is able to play, I hope he's able to play because they're gonna need him. But also, who I hope is able to play is Keenan Allen, because being that he had a week off, should be a potential to return. Okay, great, because they're gonna need him. They're gonna need Keenan Allen in this game. This is where they're gonna have to attack this offense. Defense game right here. You're gonna have to attack it through the slot here with Keenan Allen. He's just such an elite slot. His price has dropped finally, to under Mike Williams this week, which is great. So definitely there, I would have to say is Keenan Allen. Then on the other side is Christian Kirk, which he's already been dominating in the slot over there for this team. 6 targets, 25. Wow, 2 touchdown game there. And then the last game with 100 yards with another 12 targets in that game, caught 6. So yeah, back to back, just dominating on this game, on this team, man. He's the big play receiver for them, so they're always looking for him anyways. But he's definitely the number one weapon, I would say, for that game period to stack up with Trevor Lawrence. Then we got Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Rodgers and Tom Brady, man. Rodgers is funny because it's not like he's out. Any of his receivers are out or suspended or anything, but just doesn't really have the actual receivers, I feel like, to attack this defense the right way, unless they're going to move Allen Lazard into the slot, which I saw them do on the goal line play that they threw the touchdown to him on. So maybe if he moves into the slot more in this game, he can be the number one receiving option for him. If not, I'm thinking it's going to have to be Aaron Jones because I believe he had a lot of targets. Or he had 3 targets the last game. But, dominating the run. It's so hard to run on this team, so it's hard to say it's going to be a running back. But if he can just get more targets out, in the passing, because they're going to need to dump a lot against this defense. So I definitely would say Aaron Jones could be the best weapon. But for Tom Brady's side, I just think it's going to be Fournette just because he doesn't really have any weapons. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if Mike Evans is out and then Russell Gage is probably going to be his slot receiver in this game, and he probably will be looking to dump the ball off to him a lot. He already had 6 targets in the last game, so I do expect him to be, but I know how much he'll go to Fournette if that's all he has. Like, he will dump the ball 12 times if he has to just to beat Aaron Rodgers. So definitely would say Fournette over Russell Gage. Then We got a Rams and Arizona game. This should be a great game here. We have Kyler Murray versus Stafford, 2-3-4 defenses going at it here. So it should be both Kyler Murray and Stafford here. I can basically put back Dortch in again if Rondale Moore is not able to play again. So if he's still not able to play and get his first appearance in the slot, like I know he's got to be so eager to get out there to finally start, because man, it sucks for him. I know it has to really suck for him that he hasn't been able to get out there while DeAndre Hopkins is out, and he only has 4 more opportunities to do it, because after that he probably won't even be playing there. I would think they'll move Marquise Brown to the slot just to put Hopkins out wide with AJ Green. And then Marquise Brown will probably start having even better games than what he's having now, being out wide, going against the number 1 corners every game and stuff like that. But for now, Greg Dortch is definitely in play again to put in your lineups to stack with Kyler Murray. And then also on the other side, Cooper Kupp, definitely going to be a big play. 9,900 again. It's crazy. I mean, he did come through, though, last week. Got to say that. Like 35 points, back-to-back games with 35 points. So definitely got to say it's going to be Cooper Kupp again. He's, man, almost 30 targets. Wow. In 2 games. That's crazy. So, yeah, definitely got to pay up for him. But, I mean, he's been worth it so far. So you can't say he isn't worth the pay, But we're going to move on to the Atlanta and Seattle game for the last game of the slate. And we got Mariota versus Geno Smith. And both of these defense, okay, we got Atlanta plays a 3-4 defense. Seattle plays a 4-3 defense. So we got Mariota. And, man, I am so happy that we got to see Drake London play such a great game, man. I had a feeling he was going to get his first USA, touchdown over Kyle Pitts, man. And I had a feeling it was going to be against the Rams that game. I didn't expect him to have that big of a game, though, the way he did, though. I didn't know he was going to get 12 targets. Like, he came off of 7 the first game, so I wasn't expecting him to get double-digit targets. But I do expect it to happen again. I actually do expect this double-digit targets to roll again. Big plays, to come out of him. Maybe he hits his first 100-yard game this game and another touchdown. Comes up with another 20-something points fantasy. For 5,800, that will not be bad of a stack to have with Mariota. And then on the other side with Geno Smith, it's about time Lockett gets involved, man. And this is supposed to be the game. I know he was very involved here, which is great to see. He connected with Lockett a lot for this last game. But this next game here, this is the matchup for him to really get Lockett his touchdown game. Like, so for 5,800, man, it's crazy. Both of the receivers, 5,800, same price. Easy to run back here then, or, whichever way you want to do the stacks, and you run back each or one of those receivers that I just gave you here, because they're definitely supposed to have the games, their best fantasy game for those two. So, and that's the end of the first look, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. Like I say, I just try to go over the most simplest things. We do the first, the review, best lineups and stuff like that with the first look, and then just to give you the best picks of the week. So be looking forward to the first look of the showdown for Thursday night. My top 5 in every position videos will be dropping, each day this week too as well. Like I said, the full strategy video comes out on Friday, and then we got the value picks that comes out on Saturday. So for the whole week slate for week 3, man. Hope y'all enjoyed week 2. Hope y'all won some money. It's your boy Jaystar, and I'm out. Peace.